During the whole of a dull, dark, dreary, drizzly day in Wellington, some years after my experiences on the Your Dog's Been Spayed radio show at 156 Onepu Road, Mount Victoria, I find myself on a bicycle as the shades of the evening draw within view of the melancholy house of Mephostophilis. I know not how it was, but with my first glimpse of the building, a sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. I should recount, with the help of the lovely Michael Pohl, who will be playing my actual voice in order to contrast my internal monologue, my experiences leading up to the arrival at my old friend's front door. The lovely Cordelia Ann Black will also be voicing about 2 characters, including the late, great Mephostophilis. I had not seen Mephs for many years and was very surprised to one day receive a letter from my old friend.
Why, I've just received a letter. I'm very surprised. I wonder who it's from. Rustle, rustle. Why, it's Mephostophilis. I haven't seen him since we helped the mole people return to their home planet in their teapot-shaped spaceship. What does it say?
My dearest Derek, I wish I could ring you, but alas, my condition does not permit me to partake in the technological revolution. I am in the last days of my life and would love to see you again. My bond with Wicka is sadly souring, and to see the face of an old friend will do me some good.
I hoped his seeing my face would do him good, at least some good, so I was determined to cross any obstacle to see my old friend, drinking buddy, and now alien demon.
Let's see, where does it say he's living now?
At the end of my days, I ask you to come back to the beginning. You will find me and my irritating wife at 156 Onepu Road, Mount Victoria.
And so it was that I found myself staring at my now even more dilapidated former flat, gloomy and dim.
156 Onepu Road. I guess this is the place.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Wicka.
Not so loud, Derek.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wicka.
Speak up.
What?
Shut up and come inside.
I entered the house and was amazed at how the flat had changed.
I'm amazed how this flat has changed.
Ugh, that's a cheap gag. Come on, I guess you're here to see Mephs?
Yes, he sent me a letter asking me to come.
Ah, the baby! He's dying of some weird lethargy thing that no one can diagnose, and he just keeps complaining.
Can we turn on a light? It's quite dark inside.
Isn't this candle enough for you?
Not really.
Well, any more hurts our eyes, so get used to it.
I was led up the stairs, mouldy with years of neglect, and was led into the master bedroom of the house. There was a large oak-panelled door which seemed very out of place. Wicka got me to push it open to reveal a grand 4-poster bed with a canopy and drapes and a small fireplace in the corner of the room.
Here's someone to see you, my lord. Ah, bring him closer. No, you know perfectly well that it's Derek.
Hello, Miss. How are you feeling?
Horny.
Great.
Well, I'll leave you 2 lovebirds alone. Be careful with him, Derek. He's very fragile in his current condition.
Really?
No! Haven't you got the impression that I think he's being a grandiose drama queen about this whole illness thing yet?
Oh.
I'll see you later, Derek.
Bye, Wicka.
As Wicka left Mephs and me alone together, I looked at this once great demon. A creature who could once have swindled you out of your soul, now reduced to a snivelling skeleton of a person. The gigantic bed only served to make the scene more ludicrous.
Miss?
Yes, Derek.
Why are there no lights in the house?
Ah, my and Wicca's condition.
What is your condition, Miss?
I don't know. Doctors don't understand it, but I do. I'm hypersensitive. I can only sleep in these silk sheets. I can only wear certain clothes.
Sounds ghastly.
Oh, but wait, there's more. I can hear and see so acutely. I can hear the mice scuttling in the pantry. I can see the pores on your face in this dim light. And you need to use concealer. We can't stand loud noises or the light of day anymore, so I lie here in my sorrows. You must help me. Give me some life back. Make my last days one of splendor and joy.
You're dying?
Vitamin D deficiency, you see.
Are there supplements you can take?
Come here, Derek.
And so I spent the night telling Mephs about my life after the Your Dog's Been Spayed radio show. But for every cheerful detail I had to tell Mephs, there was a story of gloom and doom. I'd mention puppies, he'd mention climate change. I'd speak about this beautiful song I heard once about love and life, and he'd mentioned Justin Bieber's 50th album. And so we continued until slowly I drifted off to a deep sleep, curled up on the silk sheets of my old friend's bed. I awoke the next morning to a thin crack of light creeping along the floor of Meph's bedroom. Despite the massive window, there was a huge blackout curtain hanging, cutting out the bright light of morning. The room was empty, the fire had died of the night, and Meph's was nowhere to be seen. I made my way through the gloomy house to the kitchen, downstairs.
Good morning, my dear Derek.
Oh, good morning, Meph. You seem in good spirits.
Yes, Wicka died in the night.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Okay.
Do you still want to do that picnic today? You suggested it last night. It seems like a marvellous idea. We can have it in the sitting room. Oh, there's a good carpet there.
But Wicka?
Oh, we'll take care of her today. There's a coffin in the sitting room. We'll just need to get her down the stairs and then into the crypt.
Is a crypt?
Yes, we had another one dug into the basement. You can get through it, through a trapdoor to it, in the sitting room.
We're going to entomb her today?
Yes! Oh, I made coffee for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Slurp. But won't her friends and family want to come to the service?
Did you speak to Wicka last night? She wasn't the sort of person to make friends, let alone keep them.
Yeah, I guess she was pretty nasty when we were living together.
And the past decades have only made it worse, trust me.
What about Warning? They got on, didn't they?
Yes, but he and Clucky have settled down and started a family on Stewart Island now.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have to perform the ceremony, I'm afraid. Father Clive Earl Grey is buried down there too now. Do you remember the prayer to the teapot?
I think so.
Great! We'll have the funeral straight after breakfast, and when that's done, we can go and have our picnic in the sitting room.
God, this is depressing.
Oh, speak for yourself.
And so with great straining and grunting, we got Wicca's body downstairs.
Mess, why can't you just have changed shape into something which can carry Wicca to the crypt by yourself?
I'm too weak, Derek. Here we go. And into the coffin. Right. Now we pull back the carpet, open the trapdoor, and give the coffin a good push, Derek.
It's fallen in.
Yep. Derek, if you would do the honours, please.
Eh?
The prayer.
Up here?
Yes, recite the prayer up here.
Okay, our teapot, which is in space. Maintain thine orbit. Worship you we do. Your tea is strong, it will be drunk, as the invisible unicorn commands. Protect us from coffee or chocolate, and give us the strength to forgive those who add milk or sugar. As you forgive us when we accidentally misbrew. Allow us to protect our cups, and always provide us with a biscuit or two.
Amen. Right, that's that. Let's cover her up and get on with our picnic.
And so I and my old friend picnicked on the carpet of his sitting room, covering the trapdoor, which in turn covered the tomb of his wife, in there with blah 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 blah. Increasingly, Mephistophilis became more and more morbid. I tried to cheer him up, suggesting we go watch a rom-com, but we ended up talking about being buried alive instead.
Well, there was this one about the woman who found herself buried alive in the family tomb.
Is this really appropriate?
And try as she might, she never managed to get out of her crypt. The next time the doors were opened, another family death. The woman's skeleton fell through the open door.
Oh, we should go and watch the latest Community. It's really good.
Or there was the one about the man who was driven insane by his flatmate's lazy eye.
Well, that's slightly better.
So he hacks him to pieces and buries the corpse.
Under the floorboards of the sitting room, yes.
Oh, how did you guess?
We should head upstairs.
Why?
I'm a little uncomfortable listening to you telling stories about burying people under the floorboards when you have done just that.
Okay.
And so we went upstairs, and Mephs continued his tales of murderous mayhem. But as he did, a storm began to brew outside the house. The banging and crashing of wind blowing about rubbish bins and household pets became deafening.
And so he cemented the bricks up one by one as his friend kept asking him where the cask of booze was.
Okay, I'm going to tell a story now. It's my turn.
Fine. Oh, tell the black cat.
No, I'm here to cheer you up.
If you tell me the black cat, it'll cheer me up. Honestly.
All right, if it'll cheer you up.
It will.
Fine. So our narrator for this story loves animals, and his wife and he have many pets. But none was so loved as their black cat Pluto. Pluto would frequently wake them up bright and early in the morning, but this was good, as our narrator and his wife loved the creature. But slowly, as our narrator's life went on and the marriage began to show its first signs of wear, he took to the drink.
And then he comes home from late one night really drunk, and he cuts out Pluto's right eye.
Yes, thanks, miss. Are you sure this is going to cheer you up?
Yes, see, I'm bouncing already.
And so
Okay.
I continued the story. But as I went on, Meph's demeanor looked more obsessed than happy. As the storm built, so did Meph's slow rocking on his chair, muttering to himself. but he insisted that I continue the story.
From that point on, Pluto was terrified of our narrator. He fled at the sight of him, and our narrator began to despise Pluto in turn. Until one night, our narrator caught Pluto and in a fit of rage, hanged the cat from a nearby tree. As the cat slowly died, our narrator saw a flicker in the kitchen as a fire began to spread through his house. And as the cat died and the house burned, the cat let out a slow...
What was that?
The wind, Mephs.
Oh, right, yes, so he returns to the burnt-out house and he finds the image of a hanging cat seared onto the side of a wall, and he eventually finds a new place and a new house. Cut to the new cat they get.
All right. They find a new cat, seemingly exactly the same as the old Pluto, except for a white patch on the cat's chest which seems to slowly change as our narrator looks at it. This new cat, we shall call him Pluto 2, follows his master everywhere, until one day, when they are walking down to the cellar of their new home, Pluto 2 weaves his way between the feet of our narrator, nearly tripping him up as he walks down the stairs. Our narrator, blind with fear, leaps down and picks up an axe from the cellar floor and walks towards the black cat.
At which point the wife leaps in front of our narrator, who swings anyway, and his wife falls dead to the floor.
And as I describe our narrator slowly building a brick wall around the corpse of his wife, the trees begin to creak and thud against the side of the house. Mephs too begins to be profoundly affected by the storm and begins to rock more intensely on his chair, back and forth, such that you think it must fall over at any minute.
And days later, the police arrive to question our narrator about his wife's disappearance. Such as our narrator's certainty of his safety that he leads them down to the cellar. He shows them around and leans against his handiwork, saying how proud he is of his home and its strong walls. He then taps.
What was that?
The wind, Mephs. He taps, and then slowly a deathly wail rings out from behind the wall. The police break their way through the brickwork to reveal the body of our narrator's wife, and standing upon her head, screaming, is the black cat.
It's her! She's coming up here!
What? Who's coming up here, Mephs?
Wicka! I heard her! Said I not that my senses were acute? I've heard her struggling through the coffin, forcing open the trapdoor, and now she's coming up the stairs, Derek! We have put her living in the tomb!
Just at that moment, the door is flung open, and Wicka, lofty and enshrouded, walks through the doorway towards the quaking Mephostophilis.
You bastard! Do you know how bored I was in that coffin?
I fled the house aghast. The storm was still abroad in all its wrath as I ran down the front path and over the road. Suddenly, there shot along the path a wild light, and I turned to see where the gleam issued. The radiance was of the full setting and blood-red moon shining through the windows of the house, engulfing it. My brain reeled as I saw this light engulf the building, which seemed to fall into it. I turned my back once and for all over the remnants of 156 Onampu Road, Mount Victoria.